My name is Calvin, and as I sit here recounting the events that unfolded not too long ago, I can still feel the adrenaline coursing through my veins. It all began when I graduated from university, a milestone I had been eagerly anticipating for years. With my degree in hand and a sense of newfound freedom pulsating within me, I made a decision that would alter the course of my life. I decided to join a fraternity. The fraternity, nestled along the serene coastline, beckoned to me like a siren's call. It promised camaraderie, brotherhood, and a sense of belonging that I had long yearned for. And so, on that fateful day, I embarked on a journey that would test my resolve and push me to my limits. The drive to the fraternity house was long, winding, and filled with anticipation. 3 hours stretched before me, each passing minute tinged with excitement and nervous energy. I couldn't shake the feeling that my life was about to change in ways I couldn't yet comprehend. As I arrived at the sprawling estate that housed the fraternity, I was greeted by a sea of unfamiliar faces, all buzzing with anticipation and excitement. There was an electric energy in the air, a palpable sense of anticipation that hung heavy over the gathering. I stepped out of my car and took in my surroundings, the salty scent of the ocean mingling with the sounds of laughter and music. It was a scene straight out of a movie, and I couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement course through me. With each step I took towards the fraternity house, I felt the weight of my decision lift off my shoulders. This was where I belonged, I realized, amongst these like-minded individuals who were bound together by a common purpose. Little did I know, however, that the journey I was about to embark on would test not only my commitment to the fraternity, but my very will to survive. As the day wore on, and the sun began to dip below the horizon, the festivities kicked into high gear. There were games, competitions, and plenty of food and drink to go around. It was a celebration unlike any other, a raucous affair that seemed to stretch on into the night. Amidst the revelry, I found myself surrounded by fellow fraternity hopefuls, each one eager to prove themselves worthy of membership. We laughed, we joked, and we shared stories of our pasts and our hopes for the future. But as the night wore on, the mood began to shift. The jovial atmosphere gave way to a sense of solemnity as the elders of the fraternity gathered us together for the initiation ceremony. Standing before us, bathed in the flickering light of torches, they spoke of duty, honor, and the bonds that bound us together as brothers. They spoke of the sacrifices that were required of us, the trials we would face, and the strength we would need to endure. And then it was time. With a solemn nod, they beckoned us forward, one by one, to take the oath of allegiance. As I stepped forward to recite the words that would bind me to the fraternity, I felt a sense of pride swell within me. This was it, I realized, the moment I had been waiting for. But little did I know, the true test of my commitment was yet to come. As the last echoes of the initiation ceremony faded into the night, the elders of the fraternity gathered us together once more to reveal the task that awaited us. It was a simple task, they assured us, one that would test our resolve and our dedication to the fraternity. We were to journey along the coastline, they explained, from one end of the beach to the other. It seemed like a straightforward enough task, but as they spoke, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to it than met the eye. And then, they dropped the bombshell. We were to undertake this journey bound together, linked by ropes that would tether us to one another. It was a test of unity, they explained, a way to forge bonds of brotherhood that would last a lifetime. As the reality of the task sank in, a murmur of apprehension rippled through the crowd. We exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what lay ahead. But deep down, I knew that this was what I had signed up for. This was the price of admission into the fraternity, and I was determined to see it through to the end. The journey began in earnest as we set off along the coastline, the sand soft beneath our feet, and the sound of the waves crashing against the shore filling the air. We moved as one, a ragtag group of fraternity hopefuls linked together by ropes that bound us together like a makeshift chain gang. At first, the going was relatively easy. We laughed and joked as we walked, sharing stories and getting to know one another as we made our way along the beach. But as the hours stretched on and fatigue began to set in, the mood began to shift. The sun beat down relentlessly from above, casting long shadows across the sand as we trudged forward, our footsteps heavy with exhaustion. The ropes that bound us together chafed against our skin, leaving angry red welts in their wake. But still, we pressed on, driven by a sense of determination and camaraderie that refused to be extinguished. We encouraged one another, offering words of support and reassurance as we faced each new challenge head-on. And then, just when we thought we couldn't go on any longer, we heard the unmistakable sound of a motorboat approaching from the distance. At first, we dismissed it as a trick of the mind, a product of our weary imaginations. But as the sound grew louder and more distinct, we realized with growing horror that it was all too real. We were not alone on the beach, and whatever lay ahead was sure to test us in ways we had never imagined. As the motorboat drew closer, a sense of unease settled over us like a dark cloud. We huddled together, our hearts pounding in our chests as we waited with bated breath to see what fate had in store for us. And then they were upon us. A group of shadowy figures leaped from the boat onto the shore, their faces obscured by masks as they advanced towards us with menacing intent. It was then that we realized with growing horror that we were under attack. These were not the friendly faces of fellow fraternity brothers, but rather the cold, calculating visages of hardened criminals who meant us harm. Panic surged through me as I realized the gravity of the situation. We were stranded on the beach, defenseless and vulnerable, with no means of escape and no one to call for help. As the bandits closed in on us, a sense of desperation gripped me like a vice. I knew that if we didn't act fast, we would be at their mercy, with no guarantee of survival. And so, with a surge of adrenaline coursing through my veins, I made a split-second decision. I broke free from the group, tearing myself away from the ropes that bound me. I sprinted as fast as my legs could carry me, my heart pounding in my chest as I raced towards safety. Behind me, I could hear the chaos unfolding as my fellow fraternity hopefuls grappled with our assailants. But I didn't look back. I couldn't afford to. My only focus was on reaching help, on summoning the authorities to come to our aid before it was too late. And though the road ahead was uncertain, I knew one thing for certain: I had faced the ultimate test of my commitment to the fraternity and emerged stronger for it. For in the face of adversity, I had learned what it truly meant to be a brother. And that, perhaps, was the greatest lesson of all.